This video was sponsored by Envato Elements. A very good day, my name is Benny and welcome to this spooky new episode of Realistified, the show in which I turn your drawings into sort of reality using Photoshop. Obviously today it is Halloween, October 31st, and that's why I chose to do a special episode of Realistified, because you guys don't seem to get enough of it. Today I'm gonna do some seriously monstrous and horrific creatures you guys have drawn, because, well, as I said, it is Halloween. I mean, not that I usually don't do horrific creatures, but you know, you get the point. Now, if you want to see your drawing in the next episode, all you gotta do is send it to bennyseditshow@gmail.com. So let's not waste any more time and get straight into the first drawing of today, which was made by William. Here's a cool drawing I made of a horror version of Pikachu. You can do anything to it, obviously, it would make my day. And his Instagram was attached, Carlson Draws. Thanks William for this great drawing. I think this would be a great one to start with today, and I'm just gonna try to make him look as creepy and evil as I possibly can. Oh wait, before we start, if you don't like nasty stuff, maybe this is not the best video for you. And also, if you really love bread, we're gonna have a problem too. Let's go. So here we are in Photoshop. First I'm gonna try to get rid of the gray background by erasing the edges and some levels. There you go, that's better. Now for the fluffy yellow fur, I thought this image would be best, so I'm gonna take my quick selection tool and sort of select most of his body, because that's what I'm using to build Pika's body from the ground up there, and now make that yellow. I'm first gonna add a hue and saturation layer and make that as yellow as I can, and then an exposure adjustment layer to make it look bright and vivid. So now I have to construct his body. For his main body, this actually is the perfect shape, so I can just leave it there. But for the head, I'm gonna have to use some warp. By the way, I have warp merch now, so if you want to have an awesome hoodie that says warp with, well, the warp effect, you can purchase that below. Anyway, now that that is complete, I'm gonna, let's see, grab a brush and erase the stuff we don't need. I'm gonna carve out his mouth like that. I'm using fur brushes for this, makes it look more realistic. Beautiful. Now that's what I'm gonna have to do to the whole thing. A part right there. Yeet, yeet, yeet. There you go. Now look at that. That is a lot better than I hoped. Oh, and now that I said it, I also have There You Go merch. So that's also down below. Go check it out. But anyway, it looks very flat and fake. So let's go and add some incredibly stylish shadows with some exposure adjustment layers. So I'm just gonna paint here and there, give it some shape, some depth, some ambient shadows if you will, and then an even darker one. Now see, that's what really gives it shape right there. Perfect. So then the little ears, and that's actually pretty much the same idea as before, just using another piece of fur and put the parts together like that, remove the weird stuff we don't need, and there. Now I just need to add these same shadows. There you go. Sick. At this point it could technically still become sort of a happy Pikachu, except, well, it's gonna be a nightmare. But the tip of his ears obviously have to be black, so let me just make that darker. Oh, and take out some color as well, like that. Oh, that works, holy sh**. Some blend if, take it away from the highlights. Then I think I can just copy that thingy and move it to the other side. Yeah, look at that. Gonna have to warp it a little though to get the shape right. To make the inside of the mouth black, I'm just gonna make a black shape with my pen tool there, then put it on there. Now look at that, perfect. Then for teeth, let me just put all these right here and some flashback there, but now they look kind of weird and flat, so I'm using another exposure adjustment layer and just paint over them like that. There you go, that's a lot better. This looks so weird, what the heck. They're a bit grayish though, so let me just add some color balance. There you go, that's actually decent. I'm gonna put this one right down there too. For the other teeth, painting it back like that. Right, and now I can just grab one of those teeth again and move it over here. And now I just gotta copy and paste them. There. Great. Now let's go add some shadows again like I did before. Oh, and also the same color balance, of course. The flash below can use some shadows as well, because it looks a bit flat right now. It's funny, I'd never make any of this kind of stuff if not for this show. You guys give me ideas to make by sending your drawings. It's crazy. Anyway, there's his mouth. Ain't that beautiful? This is horrifying, bloody hell. So to make that weird, disgusting stuff on the sides, I found a really uncomfortable image to to use. I do not want to know what this is. I'm just gonna do this as fast as I can because I do not like, well, this kind of nasty stuff. Like in movies, disgusting stuff is great, but like this is real, I think. I don't even know. Let me just use my brush to get rid of some areas, make it a little darker, and of course add some shadows on top and below to blend it together with everything. Maybe I could even add another layer. Oh, here it comes again. Ew, like that. And add the same effects again to that thing. Yeah, that is pretty much exactly what I aimed for. Now let's add some blood all over the place. Firstly down here on his lips. What a joke. Just painting and painting. And again, no tablet, just a mouse, don't worry. Ooh, and also some on his teeth. Maybe even on his fur down there. There you go. Yes, dude. I have this texture, and maybe if I can put that on overlay. Let's try that with a soft brush, just very softly there. Yeah, I guess that works. It's a small detail, but it does add some variety, I guess. Then let's do those black sort of cracks on his chin, just with a black solid color, painting again. Nice. Now, for the eyes, I found this, and actually I just need the reflections from it. So I'm just gonna make the shape for the eye like that, then put it inside of it, a little bigger. And now it is very shiny, so maybe I should make that a bit darker with some shadows. Ooh, I should erase the edges with a far brush to blend it in. Yes, dude, that looks great. And then also some more shadows around the eye. There, now that's pretty alright. And yeet, there's the same thing for the other eye. So, so far so good, I'd say. He still doesn't really have limbs, so let's start with the arms. That's the easiest. Basically, it's the same thing as we did in the beginning, using some portions of the cat's body, making a nice shape like that. And then it needs the same shadows. Painting. Great. And then let's copy that thing to the other side. Dude, that's so cool. This really was a great idea. This whole thing was made using one cat and some other small stuff that nobody really cares about. Putting some teeth on his hands as claws. Again, with the shadows and color balance. This is so epic, dude. Look at that. Oh, and his feet. Boom. Holy shit, this is dark. Wait a second, he doesn't have a tail. There, little darker. Yeet. Now I'm gonna add a quick background to make it look a little more interesting and dramatic. So I'll see you in a sec. There you go. I know I've said this many times already, but this one turned out a lot better than I thought it would. It's definitely a very terrifying Pikachu. I definitely would not want him as a stuffed animal. Anyway, William, thanks for submitting your drawing. I'll make sure to send this back to you whenever I get the chance. So before moving on to the next drawing, let me first tell you a little bit about today's sponsor, Envato Elements. Because what some of you may not know, by getting a subscription on Envato Elements, not only do you get access to the actual best digital creation asset library, but you also support me as an artist and YouTuber, and I would really appreciate that. I've been using Envato Elements for like 9 months now, and I can't get enough. They have so many stock images you can use, but also overlays and 3D elements, especially that actually came in quite handy recently. You can find literally any object, find the right angle and download it as a PNG or PSD. And even for video editors, there's great stock footage, motion graphics and templates. But there's even more. There's also Photoshop add-ons like brushes and layer styles, which is super helpful. Lots of people ask me where I get mine from. Well, there's your answer. I absolutely 100% love and support Envato Elements. I think they do a fantastic job, and I consider them the best option if you're looking for stock assets of any sorts. It simply really helps to have good quality stuff to work with when you want to grow your skills and results. And for just $16 a month with an annual subscription, it's also super affordable. If you're interested, do not hesitate to use the link in the description to get a subscription and support me in the process. Now, onto the next drawing. This time, however, I'm doing things a little differently for the second one. Halloween is all about scary stories, so that's what I'm doing for this this one. I asked Zombie Inspiration on Instagram to write an origin story for the creature I create. You may remember him from the Man Who Killed the World speed art, which also had a story, and if you like good stories, make sure to follow him. Anyway, this drawing was made by Brett. Hey Benny, I've been watching your videos for a while now and was wondering if you could realistify this drawing I made. Thanks for your submission. This drawing is clean and not very detailed, which means I have loads of freedom to make it as dark and terrifying as I possibly can. Here's the creation of the creature with his horrifying origin story.
Deep in the Arctic, a team of some of the best international scientists work hard on the world's greatest struggle of today. The grasslands were on fire and the icebergs were melting. Something along the lines of the idealism of global warming was on the rise, pushing all of the populations to live in cluttered safe zones. These scientists were working tirelessly against time and the extent of life itself to escape the Earth's self-destructive behavior. There had to be an alternative placement for who was left from the apocalyptic proportions. Space exploration had been delayed due to many setbacks in manufacturing issues and mission failures. Panic was here, leaving the professionals to make the mistakes of amateurs. However, they scanned for possible relocations, but there was already a lack of solutions to begin with. Due to the many factors of having a place to be deemed livable, the well-known planets in the solar system were discovered to be inhabitable to humans. There had to be another way, or so the scientists believed. With nowhere else to go, and as they expended valuable resources for a solution, there was only one viable option. It was a long shot, but it had to work, for humans' sake. Cross-genetics were, and have been, a discovery for some time now. This was the solution to push for, since it was the last option left. As the land was on fire and the ice was melting, people had to succumb to live in an environment that they never thought was possible. It was the deep underwater. Resources of building structures in the deep sea were going to take time, although the scientists were required to speed up that process. Many civilians had volunteered as test subjects to become injected with an assortment of DNA groups. From all types of animals that live on land and in the sea, scientists were making breakthroughs within only a couple of weeks' span. Those weeks were detrimental as the fiery destruction was closing in on the remaining zones of what was left of the population. Unfortunately, none of the test subjects were strong enough to withhold their injection of DNA, which resulted in their unfortunate deaths. The scientists had to approach the solution in a different way. They began from the very beginning, taking strands of DNA characteristics from all kinds of different animals to create a human that was born with these changes, then to have a person become accustomed to them. In theory, it would have worked, but professionals weren't entirely reliable under pressure. After all, they were human, unlike what they had created. The embryo was born with an accelerated growth speed to test if living underwater was even a possibility. It only took a few days for this creature to become a fully matured beast. The scientists had to run more tests to figure out its extent of survival, but the beast had grown aggressive. Its combination of strands from spider to alligator and to even branching out to a species of squid, the creature had inhabited unimaginable strength. Just as one of the scientists was about to draw some of its blood, an assistant accidentally knocked over a flask of corrosive fluids. The flask shattered all over the tiled floor. The fluid splashed up and onto the creature. Its skin created boils, peeling away from the bone. The beast cried out in agony with its tendrils flailing wildly. This accident caused the beast to attack in defense. The tendrils launched the terrified people against the lab's walls. Body-sized indentations lined the walls of hallways and rooms inside the fabricated building as it was making a run for the exit. People crossed its path, trying to steer it back into the testing chamber, but it was no use. The beast shoved their heads in between its jaws, creating a crackling crunch with each one. Blood trailed behind the threatened creature as it tore off the secure doors of the building and made its escape. It disappeared into the blinding light of snow flurries. Humanity was forever crippled by the scientists' last efforts to save what was left of their history and culture. The man-made creature was never found again. Rumors said that it lurked in the great ocean to where it belonged. Some reports stated that some people have spotted it along the outer beaches of the Philippines. May we never encounter this aggressive beast in the world that it now claimed to be its own.
There you go. Honestly, I'm a bit shocked by what I made, but well, I guess mission accomplished. A monster mainly created with a sponge texture and bread. Nice. I'll send this back to you as soon as I can. Now I think we've had enough death for one day, so let's do something a little less frightening, but still spooky of course. This drawing was made by James. Hey Benny, I drew these and want to see if you were able to bring any of them into the real world and make them look a bit more realistic. Thanks for your submission, James. That shouldn't be a problem at all. Let's give it a shot. To start, let's first get the shape of his body with the pen tool, of course. I'm not including the arms and everything though, purely this is just really the main kind of thing there. And then to make that look cool, we need a texture. So I've got this one. I'm just gonna set the blend mode to luminosity. And if we use some levels, it'll look a whole lot better. There. And then I'm gonna use some warp again to make sure it looks roundish, like that. Then copy that a few times for the whole thing. Cool. Then, as usual, shadows. It's getting old already. With an exposure adjustment layer, of course. And putting some depth on the little man. Is it just me? Or does this look like a potato? Yeah, no, definitely a potato. Anyway, for that edge down there, I'm gonna use this flesh texture and just kind of paint all over that. Then after we can just add some shadows to make it more realistic and stuff. So then once again, exposure, and now I just gotta figure out what's darker and brighter, but it's really just trying and seeing whether it works or not. Then, to make sure it looks like an actual hole, let me just make the other shape for the inside. Yeah, that's cool. Then I'm gonna need to fill that with that same potato texture. Of course, it has to be a lot darker though because it's the inside, so well, like that. For the outer edge there, I think I'm just gonna do that exact same thing as I did before with the flesh texture. Why do I like nasty stuff so much? Am I a psychopath? Probably. Anyway, same thing up here. Again, making an edge. Then for the brains, I found this image, and this is from Envato Elements 3D section. Super easy, I could just choose the exact right angle, so that's perfect for this. So then I'll make that a little darker and add some shadows. I really do hope this is gonna end up like I see it in my head now. Like, it's gonna be evil, but cute at the same time. That's, it's weird. Then a straw that kind of sticks in the brains. I'm just gonna put that on there, and the bottom part should be rotated a bit just to match the angle there. Then let's cut it off right there, like that. Nice. And then also down here, make it look really, you know, there you go. Now it's gonna be red like the drawing. Fantastic. Now let's add some blood and stuff already, because that's fun. Yeah, this is painting again. Look at that, that's pretty cool. Then also some down here. And for some real blood, I found these images. So I'm putting that there on its head and use warp to match the shape so it looks better. Then it's probably too colorful, so let's bring down the vibrance. Erase this weird shit right here. Some up there. And of course down here on the big wound, definitely add something. Very nice. But our potato monster doesn't have eyes yet, so let's bless him with sight by creating two circular shapes. They shouldn't be too perfect though, can be a little, you know, maybe even a mini Krieger in there. Then for the 3D edge, that's also just gonna be a shape, and let's put the same exact texture in there again, which of course should be a lot darker. And some shadows again, who would have guessed? The original has a little smush running from his eye right there, so let's go and add that too. I've got this image, which is probably a bit dramatic, but who cares, we love drama, and that looks interesting for sure. Then let's add some more of that red stuff all over the place to give it a bit more detail and variety. How is this video not the most boring thing ever? I'm doing the same thing over and over and over again. Bloody hell. This is one depressing potato. I think I can just do bevel and emboss. Well, yeah, I think that's alright for his mouth. Then let's add a belly button like the original. There you go. Now let's put that right there. Am I the only one who just doesn't like belly buttons? They just make me feel uncomfortable when you look at them this closely and long. Anyway, it does look pretty decent, so yeah. Initially I was gonna find an image of a tie, but those pretty much all sucked, so I'm just gonna make my own thing anyway. Then let's put in the textures, add some shadows. However, obviously it has to be blue and pink, so let's do that as well. There you go. That's cute or something, I don't know. Of course, I still need the bones down there, so let's make these shapes for that. Boom, now they have textures. And then it all comes down to shadows again, so let's start doing those. Epic speed up time. nice. So for these shoes, I have been looking online for some good images, but well, it's never exactly what you need. So Envato Elements had exactly these kind of shoes as a 3D object. So I just found the best angle and used that instead. Of course, the angle isn't exactly the same as the drawing, but come on. I mean, I deserve some freedom here. Some shadows. That's decent, actually. Then it's just the legs there. Yeah, cool. And now the arm still, and then we can put him in an environment. But you all know how this goes by now. A shape, a texture, some shadows. Beautiful. Now let me just add a background and some light again. Epic speed up time. There you go. I added these little light thingies in his eye sockets because I thought that might be cool or something. I mean, without it, it might as well be a dead potato. Anyway, thanks for your submission, James. I'll make sure to send this back to you when I can. So then I guess that's it for today. If you want to have a possibility to see your drawing in the next episode, make sure to send it to bennyseditshow@gmail.com. You can find that in the description, and make sure to check out Envato Elements as well if you're interested. It's definitely worth it, so check that link also in the description. I have had lots of fun this spooky season. First the giveaway contest, Benny's Spooky Edit War, on which almost like 3,000 people participated. That's nuts. Then editing your photos, which also was a lot of fun. And now of course this episode of Realistified, the finale to the Halloween season this year. It's been great, so thanks for the support and love. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like and a comment, and if you enjoy my overall content, feel very free to subscribe, but most importantly, hit the bell to stay notified about future videos. Then I hope I'll see you in my next video.